Sia and Ira are 3 years and 5 years younger than Anmol, respectively. A year before, the product of Sia's and Ira's age was 48. Find Ira's age 2 years from now. So this is a typical age-related word problem. And whenever we see a word problem, our first step is to interpret the given information and form a mathematical equation. And once we have our mathematical equation, we can solve it to find the value of the unknown that has been asked. So how can we start thinking about this? So whenever you see a age-related word problem, there are two key points that we would always like to keep in our mind. First is how can we relate the ages of the given people in the question in terms of past, present and future. For example, let's say that someone presently is 10 years old. His current age is 10 years. So let's say 2 years from now, his age would be 10 plus 2, that is 12 years. And if I would ask what would have been the age of this person, let's say 3 years from now, like 3 years before. So we would subtract 3 from 10, that would be 7 years. So this is the one of the ways to relate the information given in the question. Secondly, the second focus can be in how can we relate the ages of the people given here. For example, let's see this question. It says that Sia and Ira are 3 years and 5 years younger than Anmol. So their ages are given with respect to Anmol's age. So let's say that the age of Anmol, and what age? We are talking about the present age. Let's say that the present age, let's try to write the information as neatly as possible. So present age of Anmol be X years. Now Sia and Ira are 3 years and 5 years younger than Anmol. So Sia's age, Sia and this is Ira. So Sia would be 3 years younger than Anmol, that is X minus 3, 3 years less than Anmol, so X minus 3. And Ira is 5 years younger than Anmol, that is X minus 5. So our job for the first statement is done. Now let's move on to the second statement. A year before. Now we are talking about 1 year before the present age. So let's shift 1 year before. So 1 year before, what would be Anmol's age? Though we don't require that, but let's write it down. So as we saw, if we are talking about 3 years before 10 years, we would say the age was 7 years, 10 minus 3. Similarly, if the present age is X years, so 1 year before Anmol's age would be X minus 1 years. Similarly, Sia's age 1 year before would be this age minus 1, that is X minus 3 minus 1. X minus 3 minus 1, which is actually equal to X minus 4 years. And similarly, Ira's age 1 year before would be X minus 5 minus 1, that is X minus 6 years. So it says that a year before, the product of Sia's and Ira's age was 48. So common mistake that all of us would do at this time would be we would multiply the product of, we would actually take the product of their present ages. But that would be wrong. It clearly says that we have to take the product 1 year before. So basically, X minus 4 times X minus 6. X minus 4 times X minus 6, this is equal to 48. Not X minus 3 times X minus 4 is equal to 48. That would be wrong. So this is the correct mathematical equation that we would get once we would interpret the given information here. So this is basically an equation in X. And what is X? X is Anmol's present age. Remember, X is Anmol's present age, not Sia's, neither Ira's. So if we would solve this, we would get the value of X. And what is the question? The question is trying to ask us, find Ira's age 2 years from now. So this is Ira's present age, X minus 5. So after 2 years, her age would be this X minus 5 plus 2. So X minus 5 plus 2, that is x minus 3. So this is actually what we are looking for. We are trying to calculate the value of x minus 3. So this would give us the value of x. We would subtract 3 from that to get our final answer. So now it's all about solving this equation. Let's do that. So x minus 4 times x minus 6 is 48. So let's multiply this. X times x is x square. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. Negative 4 times x is minus 4x, and negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24, and this is equal to 48. So x square, negative 6x and negative 4x would combine and give us negative 10x plus of 24, and this is equal to 48. Now in subtracting 48 from both the sides, we would have 24 minus 48 is negative 24, and on right hand side we would be left with 0. So this is a quadratic equation, and now we need to find the value of x. So let's use factorization. So basically we would split the middle term, and in order to split the middle term, we are looking for two numbers such that their product is equal to negative 24 times 1, that is negative 24, and their sum is equal to coefficient of x, that is negative 10. So we can start thinking in terms of this negative 24, and let's start thinking in terms of factors of 24. So the factors of 24 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Then we would have 12 and 24. But somehow we want the sum to be negative 10, and you are open to use negative and positive symbols as per your requirement. So if we would pick 4 and 6, because this combination would somehow give us negative 10. If let's say we would pick negative 4 and negative 6, this would be negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24. But what we require is negative 24. So we can't take this. So let's look for some other pair. What about 12 and 2? Their product is negative, so one of the quantities would be negative. So let's talk about 2 and 12. Let's say we have negative 12 and 2. So negative 12 times 2 is negative 24, and negative 12 plus 2 is negative 10. So this pair satisfies both our condition. So this is the value of, this is the pair that we are looking for. So now let's split the middle term in terms of negative 12 and 2. So this would give us x square minus 12x plus of 2x minus of 24, and this is equal to 0. So let's pick up the common factor from the first two terms. So x times x minus 12 plus of, any common factor here is 2. So if you can pick out 2 times x minus 12, and this is equal to 0. Now let's pick out x minus 12, as that is the common factor. So x minus 12 times x plus 2 is equal to 0. So from here, if this quantity is equal to 0, so either x can be equal to 12 if x minus 12 is equal to 0, or x can be equal to negative 2 if x plus 2 is equal to 0. But come on, we are talking about age of Anmol, and how can the age be negative? So we have to eliminate this. Age can never be negative. Age is a positive quantity. So this is the only value of x that we would consider, which means the present age of Anmol is 12 years, and we are looking for Ira's age 2 years from now, which we saw as x minus 3. So if Anmol's present age is 12 years, this means Sia's present age would be 12 minus 3, 9 years, and Ira's present age would be 12 minus 5, that is 7 years. So 2 years from now, Ira's age would be 2 years more than 7, that is 7 plus 2, that is equal to 9 years. So Ira's age 2 years from now would be actually equal to 9 years. And you could have also done this by subtracting 3 from x, that is x is equal to 12. So this would be 12 minus 3, which is again equal to 9 years.